Hello everyone, how is everyone doing today? I was getting just so many requests from my mentees, from my students that Varun, what is this PMP mindset? All I'm hearing is PMP mindset, PMP mindset. Can you explain me in short? So what I thought that I will give you the most common 10 PMP mindset. Let me change the color. So what I thought that I'll give you the most common 10 PMP mindset which will help you to solve your entire 180 questions. Like you need to have a different view and a thought process approach to solve the PMP questions using these mindsets. So I'll tell you, explain you all these mindset principles. Now, I don't want to just stick at those mindset principles. What I will be doing is I will be solving a question also along with that mindset so that you can understand that, okay, this is the mindset principle number one, and this is to how you solve and apply that mindset principle in solving that question. So I'll show you the application part also. Now I want you to watch this PMP mindset video 1000 times. Like again, I'm not making this up. I really want you to do it. However, if let's say you are in the beginning of your journey, I want you to definitely watch it because this will help you how PMI expects or how PMP exam expects you to think. So that's one time. If you are now practicing mock questions, right? You are practicing questions, then I want you to watch this because this is very, very helpful in solving the PMP exam questions. And in the end, PMI, PMP will judge you based on the technique to solve the questions only. Like if you're not getting the PMP exam questions right, then you're going to fail the exam. So it's very important before you do the mock test. And lastly, I want you to definitely watch this video in the end. In the end, let's say your exam is tomorrow, because I want you to reinforce these mindset principles on the day before your PMP exam. So this is very, very important. Next, I don't want you to make any notes. No, please don't make any notes because whatever this PDF which I'm using, you will be able to download for free of cost. I'll tell you the process in the end, how to download it. You just have to go to my website, www.eduhubspot.com, fill some form, and then you just get it. It's like fill the form. Either you'll get it on an email or somebody from my team will reach out to you to get this done. So forget about that part. What is more important is the value part. Okay, so let's get started. Mindset number one, be proactive, not reactive. What do I mean by that? Proactive and reactive, right? Like you know what proactive means. Proactive means you're doing proactive steps so that if an issue comes, you resolve it, right? Reactive is that problem has already come and now you are just reacting to it, right? So always be proactive. Try to prevent the problem. Try to don't come up with a solution when the problem has already happened, right? Do it in a step-by-step way. Okay, it is applicable to all: waterfall, adaptive, and hybrid. Adaptive means agile. So it doesn't matter whether it is a predictive question or an agile question or an hybrid question. This concept is applicable in all three life cycles. Whether the PM is taking proactive actions or not will be tested. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, let's do one question. Then I will explain you what does proactive and reactive means. During the execution phase, your key team members inform you in the following phases. There is a high probability the project may deviate from its compliance requirement, okay, which will lead to legal issues. As a project manager, how will you handle this? So most of your time, your PMP exam questions will be scenario based. In fact, like 99% of your exam would be scenario based question. And this is a scenario based. What do I mean by scenario based? How will you handle this? What will be your next step? What will be your first step? Okay, things like that. So what is the question over here? Question says that project may deviate from its compliance requirement, right? And it may lead to legal issues. Now, for the next phase, implement a strict monitoring process whenever the compliance requirements are deviated, address it, right? Now, if you see this is a reactive step. Reactive. It's not proactive. Why? Because they're saying for next phase, there is have a strict monitoring process so that it doesn't come into the picture. But it says for the next phase. If you know that problem has come in your question, there is a problem on your project, you need to resolve it then and there. Don't wait for the next phase to do it. B, schedule a meeting to discuss this situation with the key team members find the possible deviations in advance, and come up with a preventive action. This is what your proactive means. Why? Because you're finding preventive action. And if you read this question, what it says, project may deviate. May, it has not deviated, it's may deviate. So you need to have a proactive step so that it doesn't deviate from it. See, escalate to the sponsor. Never, never, never escalate to the sponsor. Always keep that in mind. You will only escalate to the sponsor or to your senior manager if, let's say, it has gone outside your realm. Right now, it is may deviate. It's not like the issue has happened. And even if the issue has happened, it's your job as a project manager to resolve it. Like 99% of the time, escalation will never be the answer. D, meet with the customer and ask them to follow the change control. Why there is a change control? It just says may deviate. It's not that a change has happened. So where they in the question they talked about a change control process? No, right? Eliminate it. So the correct answer is B. Remember, be proactive and not reactive. And guys, all these mindset questions which you are doing, I am using my world famous elimination technique. So if you see, I'm not saying that B is the correct. I'm just saying A is not correct, C is not correct, and D is not correct. Then you will figure it out. That automatically if A, C, D is not correct, B is the correct. So this is known as a, my world famous elimination technique. Okay, next mindset. Create plans. Applicable, waterfall and hybrid. Okay, create plans. Now what do I mean by create plans? Now, and this is only for waterfall and hybrid. Hybrid, why? Because hybrid is a mixture of predictive plus agile. So on the predictive side, this is applicable. So this mindset is only for your predictive side. Now what is create plans? In your agile side, you have minimal documentation or wherever there is necessary. That is why you are doing this for only for predictive side. Now another aspect, create plans. In your real world, maybe you don't create a communication management plan or a risk management plan, and you are a project manager, right? Do you create all the documents which you are learning in the PMP? Maybe not, but for your PMP exam, always understand creating a plan is very, very important. Probably finding a solution may not be the very first step. Maybe creating a plan is the correct answer. Again, it depends from question to question. So let's see. In the waterfall project, whether the PM is giving priority to creating a plan will be tested, and same thing in the hybrid also it will be tested. So let's see a question, okay, so that you can understand. And all these questions which I have added is like very good scenario based questions, how your PMP exam question will be. Okay, a large construction project to renovate a shopping complex in a highly populated area has received significant media attention due to its potential impact on the local community. Several stakeholders, including the community leaders, local politicians, and environmental groups have expressed concerns about the project potential impact. Your project sponsor said engaging the stakeholder is very important to complete the project successfully. During planning, as a project manager, what should be your next step? So, if you read the question very carefully, it says engaging the stakeholder is very important to complete the project, right? Engaging the stakeholder. A, define ground rules for all the stakeholders so they don't disturb. I mean, define ground rules, okay, great, but you want them to be engaged, and at one place you're saying so that they don't disturb. I mean, you want them to engage and you honestly want them to disturb you so that you can figure out what the issue is, what the problem is, so that you can resolve it. So A is not the correct choice. Again, elimination technique, world famous elimination technique. B, show emotional intelligence to stakeholders, and by showing empathy, make the stakeholders supportive. Now that's a good choice. Why this is a good choice? Because emotional intelligence is your PMP term. When you go through the process of your journey of your PMP, emotional intelligence is one of the tool and technique, and it's like you are getting those people on side, right? On your side. So for now, I will just keep it because this looks like a good choice. C, develop a stakeholder engagement plan to engage the stakeholders. Very good choice. Why? Because the question said, sponsor said engaging the stakeholders is very important. How would you engage the stakeholders? By creating the stakeholder engagement plan, which talks about how you are keeping the stakeholders. So this is the problem. You are resolving it by C. So C is a very good choice. D, Monitor the stakeholders often and take action when they impact your project objectives. Again, this is a reactive step. This is not a preemptive step. You're not. So based on the first mindset principle, I'm eliminating that. Now you tell me which is the correct choice. Showing emotional intelligence, maybe, but definitely creating an engagement plan. Start with a process. And what is the process? Create a plan. And if your engagement plan says show emotional intelligence, then show emotional intelligence. But B is not your very next step. So that's your mindset principle number 2. Next, mindset number 3, follow the plans. Now, if you have created the plan, then it's your job to follow the plan also, right? And again, it's applicable to waterfall and hybrid, not to agile, because agile is minimal documentation. Let's see a question and then you will understand. A strategically important project for your company. The stakeholders are located virtually in different countries. Okay. A key stakeholder requests confidential project information to be shared with her. Which step should the project manager take next? So key stakeholders are required project information. Should you just go and send it to her? Is that what you will do? No, right? A, send the confidential via email to the key stakeholder? No. If somebody is asking for it, you'll not just go and ask, even if that person is a key stakeholder. Maybe you argue that, Varun, it's a key stakeholder, but does the key stakeholder has the authority to view that? How do you know that? Where it is mentioned that this key stakeholder has the authority to view that confidential information. B, refer to the communication management plan. That's a good choice, right? If the communication management plan says that key stakeholders can see it, then you do the second step of sharing it with her. But first you need to refer. So B is a good choice for you to figure it out. C, as the information is confidential, schedule a meeting with that key stakeholder and share the information. Now you will say that, Varun, in your real world, you will probably do this. You will see that, okay, you know what? It's a great thing. It's a key stakeholders. I'm doing it in a meeting instead of sending via email. So there is no problem that, you know, my information may get leaked. So I will go with this. And this C is like you're resolving the problem. You are giving a resolution. In option C, you are skipping a step. And what step you are skipping? Whether that person should have access to it or not. And D, discuss with the sponsor and decide whether to share this information or not. Some people may go with this also, but you are a project manager, right? You are a what step you are a project manager. As a project manager, it's your job. Don't go for each and every minor thing for sponsor. Sponsor are typically your big boss, right? Do you seriously go, oh, should I share this with that? Are you a kid? Really? No, right? So from that perspective, D is gone. Correct choice is B, which is refer to the plan. Again, elimination technique. All the questions which I will answer will be using only my elimination technique. World famous elimination technique. Mindset number 4. Stick to process. Okay. Follow the process. Stick to process. Sticking to process is very, very important. Don't take shortcuts. Please, very important. Don't take shortcuts. Whatever answer choice which gives you the solution immediately, most likely that is never the answer. Okay. And this stick to the process is applicable to all three. It's applicable to waterfall also, adaptive and hybrid agile projects also, because in whatever you do, you have to stick to the process. Okay. A resistant stakeholder directly reached out to the agile team's work area, providing and asking the team to do some urgent work. The team accepts the work and they completed those work. The product owner becomes upset when he got to know the team worked on the requested features. As a project manager, what will you do? A, make sure the key stakeholders document all the changes as a change request and follow the change control process. Okay, good choice. If this question is a predictive question, because following the change request process, going through a change control process, that's a predictive answer. But this question is on agile. If the question is on agile, answer will be on agile. If the question is predictive, then the answer should be on predictive. How can predictive answer choice be the correct choice for an agile question? No, right? A is definitely gone. B, update the stakeholder engagement plan with the engagement strategy to make the resistant stakeholder supportive. Now, the question again, it's an agile question. In and updating the plans and everything, right? In agile, you typically don't have so many of these plans. Like stakeholder engagement plan, that's like typically in the predictive side. Question is on agile. Same logic for that goes for B also. C, collaborate with the product owner and the key stakeholder together and facilitate them to agree on a workflow. Okay, as I said, stick to a process. So in your PMI world, collaboration is the best technique. First of all, collaborate. The where you see the word collaborate, this means it's a very good choice, first of all, but not necessarily that the rest of the statement would be correct. But in this question, the problem, what is the problem? Somebody is bypassing the product owner, and product owner wants somebody, like, that somebody to follow the process. When you do option C, when you work with that particular resistant stakeholder and the product owner together, because you are a project manager, then you are asking that person to stick to that process, which is agree on a workflow, right? Let's see D. So this is a very good choice. I think that's the correct choice, but let me see D. D, invite the key stakeholder to the product backlog grooming session moving forward. Okay, that's a very good choice also, because you are following a process over here also. However, this is more of a future where you invite that. But what if, let's say the backlog grooming session is after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and that key stakeholder may definitely come back again and again, right? You don't want that. So before that, you want that person to follow a process, and follow a process is to agree to a workflow and then do it from that. So more than D, your C is a better choice. Okay. Next is solution. Very, very important. And the solution logic goes to waterfall, adaptive, hybrid, all the life cycles. Now, what is that solution? Okay, I always say this technique, Einstein, right? Einstein technique. Now, just to give you a story behind Einstein, many of you may know this or may not know this. Einstein was a scientist, right? You know probably, right? But do you know that Einstein was a scientist of physics? Maybe you know that, right? Einstein was a very different person. Now, what do I mean by that? Like, for example, I'll compare Einstein with any normal person. How would a normal person think? The problem came, and the normal person will say, okay, this is the problem, and let me find a solution, and move on with your life. Like, for example, I'll say, what will Varun do? Varun sees a problem. Varun first thing sees it's a big problem or a small problem. If it's a small problem, I just ignore it. Like, I don't have time to deal with small problems. If it's a big problem, of course I work on it. Einstein was a very different person. Einstein is doing his normal chores or stuff, but Einstein is saying that, okay, this is a problem. The problem is not coming. Einstein will figure out what the problem is on its own. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. So he will figure it out that, okay, in these 10 things, these 4 things are the problem. And whichever problem is the most important, he'll start fixing it one by one, one by one, one by one. So he was like the guy who will try to find the problems on his own and then start fixing it. So he was a solution maker, right? That was who Einstein was. Why I'm telling you this, who Einstein was? Because this is an Einstein technique which I'm teaching you. Einstein is project manager. Project manager is Einstein. What do I mean by that? Einstein was a problem solver, problem solver, problem solver, problem solver. Your project manager is a problem solver, problem solver, problem solver. Why I'm saying this three times? So that it goes in your mind. Always understand your project manager is a problem solver. So now we will read a question, and if there is any answer choice where there is a problem, try to resolve it. But again, keep one more thing in mind. If you are in contemplation between should I follow a process or should I find the solution, give priority to follow a process. Okay, I'll do the question and then you will understand. Some agile approaches have recently been added to an infrastructure company's predictive processes. The team is not completing the planned story points and they are becoming passive due to lack of skills. The project manager is concerned and wants to improve productivity. What should project manager do? A, provide team training. Okay, good. So the team can do a better job of estimating the story points. So what is the problem which is happening? It says the team is not completing because of lacking of skills. So that's a problem. Thought should be find a solution to it, right? Next, B, update the stakeholder engagement plan. Again, I'll come back to it because there is a good choice. I'll keep it for now. B, update the stakeholder engagement plan with the engagement strategy to make the resistant stakeholder supportive. First of all, nowhere in the question it says it's a resistant stakeholder, first thing. Second point I would like to say is that, it's an agile question. B answer choice is more about predictive stakeholder engagement. The problem is not about keeping them engaged. The problem is more about that they don't have the skill set to resolve it, right? So B is like just out of the blue. Okay. C, gain the needed time for story point completion by adding more iterations to the project. Can you add more iterations to the project? I mean, right now you think that you can do it in 4 iterations and you are in the middle of the work and you'll say now we'll need 6 iterations, and it's like you accepted the problem and you did not find any resolution if you go with answer C. So C is definitely out. D, use burn down chart to evaluate the team performance. Okay, now burn down chart, and maybe you don't know these terms and stuff, it's okay, you will cover that in the in your journey of PMP. But just think from this what burn down chart is saying. Burn down chart is saying evaluate the team performance, right? So you'll say that, Varun, as per the process I should go because this will tell me where the performance issue is, and then I should go and provide them the training, right? That's, you may think like that, but see this, the question they are already saying that you have not completing the planned story points, you because you have lack of skill. So you have already figured out what the problem is. Option D will tell you that there is a problem. Question states that the problem is already identified, and when the problem is already identified, you need to come up with a solution, and your solution is provide team training. Einstein, solution. Is D the solution? No, solution is provide the team training. Okay, next mindset, find the root cause. Okay, now very important. Should I go for solution first or should I find the root cause first? Find the root cause first. Because if you know what the root cause is, then solution becomes easy. And maybe finding the root cause is the solution. Maybe, right? So always, again, this is applicable to any waterfall, adaptive, agile, whatever you say. Root cause is very, very important. Okay. A project team that is working on a software project collected a series of data from historic information to help develop the project management plan. The team is now working on deliverables for the project. When the compliance manager discovers a deviation in the compliance requirement after verifying the test results, and this deviation is because of lack of documentation process. So this is the problem. There is a lack of documentation and somebody has identified and figured out the problem. As a project manager, what should you do? What should be a first step? Okay, even if in your exam it is not use the word first step, you will always assume they want you to pick up the first step. Keep that in mind. Okay. A, provide team training so the team won't miss any compliance requirement in the future. Again, a good choice, right? Provide them training, they figure it out, and that there is a lack of documentation process, and you give them the training, you will figure it out. Good. B, so I'll keep it for now. B, work with the team members and define a smooth process for documentation, right? There is a lack of documentation and you are working to define smooth process. This is directly the resolution to that problem. So I'll keep it for now. Okay, that's a good choice. I think that's a better choice than A, but I'll keep it. C, gain the needed time to complete the documentation process. I mean, there is a lack of documentation and gain the needed time to complete. I mean, that's a resolution you are doing, but where are you figuring out the problem? Like, I mean, where are you finding the root cause of the problem? C is definitely like you are having a solution. Real world, probably I will ask them to find a solution immediately, right? And do the work. But C is like giving them time and not actually fixing the problem. And the fixing is like there is a lack of process, documentation process. So set up the process. So C is definitely gone. D, escalate. I don't want to read it further. Escalate. That's my last choice because I have a better choice between A and B. Right now, A says provide team training so that the team won't miss any compliant requirement in the future. Okay, you can do it. But what is the problem? Is the problem that the team doesn't know about it or they just didn't do the process? Right? That's all it is. It says the team is deviated because there is a lack of documentation process. And if there is a lack of documentation process, that's like your root cause. The solution to that root cause is define a process. That's where you actually fix the particular problem. Okay. Next, collaboration. My favorite, as I said, always collaboration. You will not try to fix the problem in silos. You'll try to collaborate and fix it. Very easy mindset. Very, and applicable to all the three models. Always collaboration is PMI's favorite, actually. Collaboration. A project team that is working on a software project collected a series of data from historical information to help develop the project management plan. The team is now working on deliverables for the project. When the compliance manager discovers a deviation in the complex requirement after verifying the test results, and this deviation is because of lack of documentation process. As a project manager, what should be your first step? Same question, but a little bit different answer choice, because I want to explain you this mindset on collaboration. A, understand the pros and cons of the current documentation process and define the tailored documentation that is best fit for the project. Great. There is a lack of, and that's what you're doing. Good choice. I'll keep it. Okay. B, work with the team members and define a smooth process. That is what the problem is, right? There is a problem after verifying and deviation because of, so you fix it by work with the team members. C, gain the needed time to complete the documentation. No and no and no. Now, see this. A says, understand the pros and cons of the current documentation process and define the tailored documentation that is needed for the best fit, right? You are understanding what it is, and then you are defining a process with them. What is C is like, work with the team members and define a smooth process. Now you tell me, what is a better approach? Finding the pros and cons of the current process, comparing it, doing it like a gap analysis, and define the tailored documentation that is first, like, or work with the team members and define a smooth process. You tell me, which is a better approach? I know maximum number of people will say A. I know for a fact. But see this, question says, as a project manager, what should be your first step? You should understand the pros and cons, or it should be a collaboration team effort. Option B, work with the team members and define a smooth process. Collaboration, not at an individual level, fix it up and give it. That is why I gave you the same question again, so that you can understand the logic behind it. Okay, trick. Don't get demotivated. It's okay. I'm giving you these tricks right now, fixing it so that you don't make the mistake in real PMP. So it's deliberately like that. Don't get demotivated. We have 3 more mindsets to go. Next, empowering the team. Okay. If you see the previous question, it says like, understand the pros and cons, and did you empower your team? I mean, you on your own try to fix it, but you did not empower your team. But in PMI's mindset, they want you to trust your team. They want you to empower them to fix and take us next step. And this is something which is applicable for adaptive and hybrid, not on the predictive side. Because team empowerment and select, again, in predictive side also there should be empowerment, but empowering the team means more on the agile side, where you as a scrum master are a servant leader and you are empowering the team to select the process or things which you want to do on your own. In predictive, typically you take the decision that, hey, you do this, you do that. But in agile, it is that. So this concept is typically more on the agile side. I'll show you in the question. An agile project is in the execution phase. By reviewing the progress report, the project manager identified that release schedule could not be met. The PM was shocked because the PM purposely selected all the work in this sprint to meet the project objectives. How the problem can be avoided? If you see the question, it says the PM was shocked because the PM purposely selected. Did we do the collaborate here? No, PM herself did this, right? First of all, the problem would have been that person, of course, you should have collaborated to do it and not. A, self-organize the agile team members so that they will take ownership of the project. This is the correct choice. Why? Because you are empowering them. Self-organize, that's an agile principle which I will teach you in agile. But for now, self-organize the team members so that they will take the ownership and resolve the problem. If you as a PM will take on their behalf, then this is a very common scenario. B, discuss with the team and understand the skills and competency gaps and provide training. Yes, you are giving a solution, but more than that, if you would have let the team do this, they would have. Now, this is a reactive step, honestly. Discuss with them. Option A is your proactive step. C, escalate, never. D, meet with the product owner to discuss the possible solution and change the release schedule. Of course, you will do it, but again, it's a reactive step. Correct answer is A as in alpha, empowering. Okay, last, no extreme steps. If you see mindset number 9, if you see in the question they say fire anyone, stop the project, never. No extreme steps. Always try to fix the problem. Be Einstein, keep that in mind. Mindset 10, no shying away from responsibilities. As a PM, it's your responsibility to take a step, follow a process, fix the root cause, empower the team. As a PM, it's your job. You are the one who will go and give the PMP exam, not anyone else. You. So you have to study. Now, if you are all motivated and pumped up that I want to study and I want to pass, but if you don't study, you're not going to pass, right? So do keep working hard. Simple. That's why. So no shying away from it. It's your responsibility to study. Similarly, it's PM responsibility to fix things. Simple. And it's applicable to all. Let's do some question. Question mindset 9 and 10. During the execution phase, a project team member has not been at work for the past week. A lot of critical activities are behind schedule. As a project manager, how will you handle the problem? A, obtain a new resource to complete the pending work. Can you do this? The resolution to the problem. Lot of this, right? But let me ask you this. Would you immediately go for a new resource? No, right? That's an extreme step. Never. What's the mindset number 9? No extreme step. Finding a new resource immediately is an extreme step. Next, B, schedule a meeting to discuss this situation with the team members and find a solution. You can do it. You're collaborating with the team to figure out. Good choice. C, escalate to the sponsor. Your responsibility, not your sponsor's responsibility. What was mindset number 10? No shying away from responsibility. Option C is a perfect answer choice for shying away from responsibility. D, meet with the function manager to discuss the possible solution and communicate with the absent team member. Now you tell me, which is a better approach? Scheduling a meeting with the team and finding a solution is a better choice, or talking to the functional manager whom this resource report to is a better choice? Now many of you will say that, hey, you know what? In real world, probably I'll do option B, which is like find a solution, work with the team members because it's a lot of critical times and this is figure it out, and I'll go with answer choice B. But before you reach out, maybe something has happened to that team member, something has happened at a personal side. You will just quickly go, yes, I'm not saying B is not the right choice, B is the right choice, but first thing is you'll probably talk to the boss of that person, right? You'll probably see that, okay, what the solution is. Are you giving me another resource or not? If you're not giving, then I will work with the team to come up with a solution. But first you need to understand why this is happening, and based on your discussion with the functional manager, and ask that person to communicate with the team member, because you want that person reports to that person, right? Maybe you as a project manager who has loaned this resource doesn't know about it, but maybe this functional manager knows it. So as your first step, you'll talk to functional manager, but if you don't get anything, then you will go for option B. First step is D. So this completes our 10 mindset series. I hope you liked the 10 mindset series which I taught you. Okay, now as I promised to you, I'll give you these entire slides and questions and everything, whatever you need, so that you know how to think in the exam. As I said, watch this video 100 times before you do mock questions, before your exam is your next day. I want you to watch this 100 times. But in the meantime, if you really like this slide PDF what I am sharing, so that you can do a quick revision, do one thing. Go on my website www.eduhubspot.com/PMP Mindset. On that page, just fill your information about your name, email, phone number, and somebody from my team will reach out to you and share this PDF document with you so that you can do a revision. Or if you don't want to do it, just go on the chat on the website www.eduhubspot.com. On the chat section, just ask that, hey, I need the PMP Mindset series. Somebody will call you, discuss with you about your PMP preparation, and after the end of the call, they will share this with you. And please don't forget to like and subscribe the YouTube channel. I will be coming up with so many content, and I want you to get automatically notified from YouTube that, hey, Varun has come up with, EduHubSpot has come up with a new PMP video. And if you liked it, if you feel that I gave value to you, please do comment on this video, share your feedback with us. I read each and every comment. I know I get thousands of comments, emails, but I still read it because I like it when somebody passes the exam or when somebody shares the feedback. So please share your love and please keep me in your blessings. Thank you. Bye guys. And I'll see you in one another video. Bye.